Hey guys, Brent Hull for a Wednesday video. Remember that movie National Treasure when Nicolas Cage is like finding all those weird things? I've got a secret sleuthing thing called the Sanborn Maps. I'll tell you all about it today on the Wednesday video. So our 1881 house in Granbury, right? That's an early Victorian house, Italianate. It's really interesting. We've been sleuthing, trying to figure out when different parts were built and things like that. And I was at Thistle Hill talking to the architect there, and he reminded me of Sanborn Maps. The history is that the Sanborn Map Company, okay, was a map company, dates I think from the 1860s. He was basically mapping out towns and then selling the maps to insurance company for fire hazards. And so he would go through, and these agents would, for all over the country, would start building maps. And these insurance companies would then subscribe to the Sanborn Maps so that as they adjust their fire insurance information, they can go look, well, that lot has 6 buildings on it, and it tells them how the buildings were made, whether it's wood framed, stone, brick, whatever those materials were. It lists all those things out, and it was all for fire safety. So, or for fire insurance adjustments, right? So the Sanborn Maps are an incredible historic resource that you can just Google your area and your time. My client sent me a note, said, hey, I've got these old maps. Tell me what you think. So of course, deep dive into the whole world. And Granbury has 4 Sanborn Maps on the University of Texas site, 1893, 1898, 1905, and 1910. These would have been updated by map experts each of those years, right? Updating the changes that took place. It's interesting because, first of all, the Cobb residence is on that entire city block, right? Now it's split up into probably 5 or 6 lots, but originally it was one big lot. As one big lot that also had a number of outbuildings. So the first map here shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different outbuildings, or 8 different outbuildings. Also notice too that this house, that back L, that back piece that we were trying to figure out when it was built, in 1893, the Sanborn Maps show it here. And they show a porch on the east side, which we knew was there. So look, there's another porch on the other side. There's also a water tank, 20 foot. And because that little circle is blue, that means most likely it was stone. So they were identifying materials. Yellow is all wood clad, blue is stone. We get an idea here, and you also notice there's a 2 on the main dwelling, the D. 2 is the number of floors, okay? And then everything else is 1 story, and then the X means a shingle roof, right? So we've got some information here, a number of outbuildings on this building, some pretty cool stuff, right? Well, then we go to 1898. And in 1898, we see really not much change on the front of the house, but on the back, you now see a 2-story structure. And all of a sudden, we've got a building or something going on in that back corner. Was it a, local blacksmith shop? Was it, why was it 2-story? What were they storing? Was that the carriage house? We're talking 1898, so early turn of the century, wouldn't have been cars, but maybe it was a stable for horses. It doesn't tell us, but we do see change taking place, which is really interesting. 1905, so now 7 years later, and what's going on with our house? Our house all of a sudden has these 2 little bump outs on it on either side, as if those bay windows were added later. So, was this negligence on the first person missing those bays, or did they add those bays sometime between 1898 and 1905? We've got to go figure something out, right? We've got to understand what's going on here. Notice that there's been a reduction of the number of outbuildings, but the outbuildings that are there have kind of grown a little bit. So, there's changes taking place in just 7 years. What's going on? Also, if you notice that by 1910, if you look at the front of the street, it says 4W pipe, okay? So they got 4-inch water pipes now running through the town in 1910. And as we sleuth and try to figure out when water was brought to the house, when they had running water, when they had those things, we know from the Sanborn Maps that sometime between 1905 and 1910, water was added to the city structure. So all of a sudden, the Sanborn Maps have enriched this property. They have helped us understand why it's there and what's going on. And all of a sudden, we look at the neighbor's house and it's new, built in the 60s or 70s, and we're like, oh yeah, this house was on this entire city block. This house, no wonder it was built so well. I mean, that guy had a decent amount of land so close to town. We're looking at the past. We're looking for clues that can help us understand our houses better. Historic photos are great, right? But sometimes we don't know the age of those photos. We just know that they're old, right? Then we see things like the bay windows with the balustrade around the front. We got that picture, right? But were the bays added later? If it was 1905 that those bays got put on there, we should see a difference in the nails, right? Because we've gone from cut nails to wire nails right around the 1890s. There are some clues there that we're gonna have to go look through, but this certainly gives us something to think about. Maybe it was negligence from that fire map guy. Maybe it was just they missed it. It's an interesting clue for us to go back and look at. You can Google Sanborn Maps. For this case, I just said Sanborn Maps, Granbury, Texas, and this jumped up on the University of Texas site. So you should be able to go look at your Sanborn Maps in your areas and help you understand, when was that house built? That house wasn't even there in 1900. A lot of great things. If you want to play National Treasure and be Nicolas Cage and find clues, Sanborn Maps is certainly one of those ways to figure things out. You could even, pick up a water bottle and look through and magnify it. Remember he did that? Anyway, fun stuff. Hope you guys have fun looking into Sanborn Maps. Another clue, how to look at the past. It's good stuff.